Have you ever felt like you're swimming against the tide? Like you're constantly striving but never quite getting ahead? If so, you're not alone. Many of us live our lives in a state of constant doing, always trying to achieve something, always chasing the next goal. But what if there was another way? There was a way to live our lives with more ease and flow. That's where Taoism comes in. Taoism is an ancient Chinese philosophy that emphasizes the importance of living in harmony with nature. The Tao, or the Way as it is translated, is a natural order of the universe. It's safe to say when we live in harmony with the Tao, we live in harmony with ourselves. In other words, Tao urges us to let go of our need to control and manipulate, and instead surrender to the flow of life. Now, this can be a challenging concept for us to understand, because let's face it, we're so used to being in control. But when we can let go and trust the Tao, we can experience a deep sense of peace and well-being. You'll find out the how and why in this video. Our journey into Taoism starts with a legendary figure known as Lao Tzu, or you can say, the Old Master. He's the kind of long, gray, bearded man with long earlobes, overflowing with wisdom that you come across only once in your lifetime. More like a mystique dream. Lao Tzu is believed to have lived in ancient China, around 6th century BCE. But don't be too quick to imagine him as a stern philosopher sitting in a dimly lit room, pondering the universe. The story of Lao Tzu is a bit more mythical than that. According to legend, Lao Tzu was a keeper of the imperial archives in the ancient Chinese state of Zhou. Frustrated by the corruption and decay he saw in society, he decided to sail on a journey to the west, away from the urban chaos. As he reached the border, Lao Tzu met a gatekeeper at a mountain pass who recognized his wisdom and asked him to write down his teachings before vanishing into the wilderness. Lao Tzu is said to have written the Tao Te Ching in a single sitting and then disappeared without a trace. What emerged from this encounter is the Tao Te Ching, the foundational text of Taoism. In the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu introduced the concept of Tao, the ultimate formless source of everything in the universe. Lao Tzu's Tao, meaning the way or the path, is not your run-of-the-mill idea. The Tao is the underlying principle of the universe, and it is through the Tao that all things are created, sustained, and transformed. Imagine it as a gentle current that guides all things without exertion, like a river that flows unhurriedly. He described Tao as the natural order that governs all existence, like a river that flows unhurriedly. He described Tao as the natural order that governs all existence, emphasizing that it flows effortlessly and without effort. Just like you and me, his teachings encourage people in the time, Taoists, to align themselves with this natural flow. As a result, they let go of the relentless chase of power, control, and personal desires. Sounds like the total opposite of what we have today. If you think deeply, the answer lies in the question: why is the world so unsettled by power, materialism, and desire? Over time, the ideas of Lao Tzu spread across China, and Taoism evolved into a full-fledged spiritual and philosophical system. Taoist beliefs incorporated elements of meditation, alchemy, and the idea of immortality, all in the search to be in harmony with the Tao. They believe that the best way to live in harmony with the Tao is to let go of our attachments to the material world and embrace the natural flow of life. And aren't they right? This means being flexible, adaptable, and non-judgmental. If you ask a Taoist about their way of living, they'll likely dictate to you the importance of cultivating inner peace and tranquility. But how do we start with it? Simply put, this can be done through meditation, Tai Chi, and other practices that help to calm the mind and body. Taoism isn't really a talk of the past like we may think, given the life-changing ideas of mindfulness, detachment, and gratitude or gratefulness that we have in today's world. Don't they sound very similar to the idea of Taoism combined? Try daily meditation sessions or simply practice mindfulness in your routine tasks. You'll be amazed at how it brings serenity into your life. As Lao Tzu notes, silence is a source of great strength. For a good read alongside, go for the Taoist literature. Start with the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. You can follow it with The Tao of Pooh by Benjamin Hoff, and The Tao of Daily Life by Derek Lin. By the end, you'll have practical insights into applying Taoism in your daily life. The art of doing without doing. One of the key concepts in Taoism is the art of doing without doing. This doesn't mean that we never do anything. It simply means that we don't force things. We don't try to control the outcome of every situation. Instead, we let go and allow the natural order of the universe to unfold. The art of doing without doing is often misunderstood. Many people think that it means being lazy or passive, but this is not the case. The art of doing without doing is actually a very active and engaged way of living. It requires us to be aware of the present moment and to be responsive to the natural flow of life. This can be difficult for us to do because we're so used to being in control. But when we can let go and trust the Tao, we can experience a deep sense of peace and well-being. Wei Wu Wei, the pen name of Terence James Stannis Gray, beautifully captures this concept. We are products of our circumstances. As long as there's a you doing or not doing, thinking or not thinking, you are no closer to home than the day you were born. Imagine a river flowing through a forest. The river is constantly changing, but it always follows its own path. The trees on the riverbank may bend and sway in the wind, but they never uproot themselves. The birds in the trees may sing different songs, but they are all part of the symphony of life. The Tao is like the river. It is constantly changing, but it always follows its own path. We are like the trees and birds. We may bend and sway in the wind, but we are all part of the symphony of life. Taoist beliefs and practices, unleashing Wu Wei. Now, let's talk about the real deal, the Taoists. Their life path is painted with strokes of simplicity, humility, and compassion. At the heart of it all is a spellbinding concept of Wu Wei, a term that's often easier to experience than translate. It means non-action or effortless action. In simpler words, it suggests that by moving in tune with the natural order, we can achieve profound results with the least amount of effort. Who would want to put in extra effort if you can achieve your set goals with minimal action, or even no action at all? And it's beautifully captured by Lao Tzu saying, "The softest things in the world overcome the hardest things in the world." Instead of forcefully pushing against the force, which seems to be the norm in today's culture, Taoism suggests we use our intelligence to get through such situations smoothly. The concept is neatly put in 3 sentences by the author Lao Tzu himself in his book, Tao Te Ching, as quoted, "Force is followed by loss of strength. This is not the way of the Tao. That which goes against the Tao comes to an early end." Ever had one of those moments when a problem seemed to solve itself without much effort on your part? Taoists would nod knowingly because they believe that by taking action, we can often make things worse. So in your daily life, practice taking a step back when things get tough. Allow situations to unfold rather than trying to control every aspect. As Lao Tzu wisely put it, do your work, then step back. The only path to serenity. Seek balance through Taoism. To see it as a symbol, Taoism is all about that cosmic dance of yin and yang, the eternal tango of duality in life. Yin represents the passive and receptive, while yang embodies the active and assertive. It's all about finding that sweet spot, a harmonious balance. Observe your life and find areas where you might be pushing too hard or too little. Aim for that harmonious middle ground. In dwelling, live close to the ground, as Lao Tzu wisely advises. By constantly striving to improve and control every aspect of our lives, we're essentially swimming against the current. According to Taoists, this is an unnatural, exhausting way to live, both for our bodies and our minds. Now, why do we do this? It's all about the value we assign to certain things. Take, for example, our aversion to poverty and our desire for wealth and fame. We dread loneliness but crave belonging. We try to erase the former and amplify the latter, not realizing that one can't exist without the other. Moreover, it's our belief that we must mold and manipulate nature to fit certain systems and ideologies. So maybe it's time we reconsider the idea of doing nothing. Perhaps there's a profound wisdom in letting go of the reins a bit, allowing the river of life to carry us forward. After all, as Lao Tzu said, when nothing is done, nothing is left undone. So pause for a moment, delve into the wisdom of Lao Tzu, and practice the wonders of the Tao. After all, as Lao Tzu once said, to see things in the seed, that is genius.